Good morning or afternoon, depending on when you're listening to this, Samuel Ward students. I hope you're all still enjoying and working your way through your homeschooling experience. This is a little brief tutorial just to talk you through the different options and possibilities that the fabulous, and let's face it, amazing subject of English can bring you. So, a career in English. What's the point of English? Okay, this is probably something you've said before. I'm quite certain I've heard some of you say it. Okay, but really think about what is the purpose of English? What do we do in English? Why do we study English? We're about to discover. So, isn't English just reading books? No, it isn't. Reading for fun or pleasure is really important in anyone's life. 1, it increases our imagination. 2, it can be a brilliant stress reliever. And 3, it was also incredibly powerful for improving and developing our vocabulary and our understanding of grammar. But that's not all learning English is. Learning about English in school helps to develop a huge range of your skills and knowledge that will be crucial to you in your working life and beyond. So, some of the key skills and knowledge that you will acquire while studying English at school: analytical skills, critical evaluation skills, comparison skills, summarising skills, and interpretation skills. That's in terms of as you're reading. For writing, you learn how to plan, you broaden and develop your vocabulary, which in any career and job you do is really, really crucial. It helps you work on how to structure and organise your thoughts, your ideas. Spelling, punctuation and grammar skills, obviously. And any job where you're going to be writing letters or emails, you need those skills. Communication skills. Being able to convey your ideas across to readers or audiences in an English sense, but also in any job. Being able to convey what you need, what you want, and what you're trying to get across to people is really, really important. Speaking and listening, again planning, again vocabulary, structure and organisation, but also listening skills. Okay, being able to actually really think about what is it that person is trying to make me see or realise. What is it, not just the literal words they're saying, what is the overall message in what they're saying to me. And speaking skills, okay, for any job that you go into, whether it's an English focused job or not, you will need to interview, okay, so doing presentations and practicing and developing those speaking skills really helps you stand in good stead when you're applying to universities and you have to interview, when you're going for jobs and you have to interview. Okay, so we know English is important. But which jobs can you do that involve English? So I've got a couple of images. Obviously a teacher, as we can see down here, a journalist, a musician to write songs. You're going to need to have develop your English skills. Potentially kind of management positions in office, and also the law. Obviously, if you want to go into law, you have to study law, but English would be a brilliant secondary subject for you to have. So, key jobs within English, kind of like where the key focus would be, what you'd want to be studying in English for these jobs. So, editorial assistant. If you have excellent grammar and communication skills and a keen interest in publishing, consider a career as an editorial assistant. An editorial assistant's role is typically an entry job level for careers in editorial industry. And what that means is that's the kind of base place that you would start. You'll start there and then you'll work your way up. So progression to more senior roles such as feature editors or commissioning editor may be possible once you've gained the necessary skills and experience. In this role, you'll support senior editorial staff in all aspects of the administration, commissioning, planning and producing of different publications. You'll need a great eye for detail. Really, really minute attention to detail is key in this kind of job. The ability to spot mistakes and excellent time management skills so that you always hit strict deadlines. Journalist. Probably one of the first things you're going to think about if you're thinking about what would further education in English lead to, and what kind of jobs does English connect to? Journalist is going to be one of the first ones you think of. So, to succeed as a journalist on local or national newspapers, magazines, you'll need determination and the ability to research and write accurate stories to tight deadlines. Newspaper journalists research and write stories for national, regional and local press. They report on news and politics, as well as on sports, arts and culture, science and business. They also cover national and local events, entertainment and human interest stories. So within journalism, there's a huge range to which you could focus. What aspects of the world most interest you could feature what kind of publications you look to join, what aspects of that publication you wanted to be part of. There are a number of roles within newspaper journalism. Junior reporters usually write up stories allocated to them by the news desk, which they then pass on to the news editor before they're handed to sub-editors. Correspondents are specialists in one field, so you'd start as a junior and then you work your way up, you impress people, and that's when you can become a correspondent. Or location, while feature writers who cover topics in greater depth often use a more personal style. So, magazine journalists research and write news articles and features for a variety of publications, usually periodicals, including consumer titles which cover both general interest and specialist areas, customer magazines from shops, supermarkets, etc. And also a lot of journalism nowadays is online. It's not just print anymore. It used to be predominantly newspapers and magazines, but now, as you'll be aware, most newspapers, if not all, have online versions as well. Now, this is something I have personally experienced in, and I can assure any of you out there, if you're interested in travelling, this is a brilliant way to do it. It can be a long-term career path. I worked with plenty of people. This was the only job they ever did. They didn't kind of vary into anything else. And I worked with lots of people like myself that did it for a period of time. And then, like, I came back to England and moved into English teaching under our national curriculum. But it gives you such a range of experiences and options. So, if you're fluent in English, you want to travel the world and have creative planning skills, consider a career teaching English as a foreign language. So it's very, very different to teaching English that you see in school. You're not teaching Jane Austen and Charles Dickens. You're teaching them vocabulary, grammar, punctuation. So, as an English as a foreign language, an EFL is what it's referred to as. You'll teach English to adults and children. I think my oldest student was 65 and my youngest students were 3. So you can have a really wide range. Whose first or main language is not English. You'll use a range of course books and materials, plus a variety of audio-visual aids to encourage students to communicate with each other using the structures and vocabulary they've learned. After doing this job, I am brilliant at charades. You'd be surprised how many times you are miming things in class. A strong emphasis is placed on dialogue and role-playing, but more formal language games and literature are also used. You can work in a variety of settings, including commercial language schools, schools and institutions of further and higher education throughout the UK and overseas. Classes are usually taught in English. In fact, it's really, really important that you only use English. Unless you're teaching very, very small children, then the odd word you could use in their native language, but primarily everything is in English. And this is a fantastic way to see the world and truly experience other cultures. It's not like a holiday when you're just in a closed up little resort. You live with local people. You really experience their world and that culture. And I cannot advise it high enough. I had 8 fantastic years doing this. Publishing, copy editor and proofreader. So a thorough knowledge of spelling and grammar is essential in the world of publishing, but you'll also need to follow house style, adhere to deadlines and deliver what your client needs. So it's your job as a copy editor or proofreader, and lots of proofreader work can be done as kind of second jobs, where you do it online. You work for a company and they send you things to proofread. You do that in your free time before that deadline, and you send it back to them with any corrections. And I know lots of people, like I said, when I was being an EAL teacher, lots of people who spoke, who weren't native English speakers but were fluent, would kind of proofread things in their native language that needed to be translated into English. And they would proofread those translations, and they made quite a lot of extra money doing that. To ensure that material is clear, consistent, complete, and credible, and that text is well written, grammatically correct, and accessible. You'll take the initial material or the copy and make it ready for publication. You'll work on a range of publications. Again, this could be books, journals, newspaper, websites, or other electronic resources. Some people even did the proofreading for the subtitles in films and TV shows or DVDs. Marketing executive. This is a really fun one, and English is a really key skill and a really key academic qualification to have here. So if you have excellent communication and interpersonal skills, as well as commercial awareness and the ability to think strategically in a career, marketing could be for you. And there are some brilliant perks in marketing. So as a marketing executive, you'll contribute and develop integrated marketing campaigns. So it means you'll be coming up with slogans and different ways to advertise, and thinking about what your target market's going to be and what style is going to appeal to them. So it's a really, really creative job. It's a varied role that includes planning, advertising, public relations, event organisation, product development, distribution, sponsorship, and research. And it's a really interesting, wide field to potentially get into. A little bit more about marketing executive. Many organisations have marketing departments, meaning that you can work in both the private and public sector. So if you think about local councils, they have marketing executives. For example, airports, they have marketing executives. And then also you think about big businesses like Google, like Tesco's, all of these places have big marketing departments and teams. Ranging from finance, retail and media to voluntary and charitable organisations. The exact nature of your role will vary depending on the size of the organisation and the sector, and whether the focus is on selling a product or a service, and that can be very different. On raising awareness of an issue that affects the public. Marketing executives may also be known as marketing officers or coordinators. Titles vary and change quite a lot. Arts administrator. So if you're really interested in art, but the physical creation of art isn't necessarily your thing, you don't have those skills, then this could be a really interesting job for you. So arts administrators play an important part in the development of new projects, making arrangements for tours and events, as well as taking on marketing and planning responsibilities. As an arts administrator, you'll manage activities and projects provided by a range of organisations in the arts sector. It's your job to facilitate the work of artists and arts programmes. These include art festivals and centres, community and disability art organisations, dance companies, local authorities and arts councils, theatre, galleries and museums. Types of art administrator. In a small company, you'll probably cover a number of functions, from marketing and managing performers and audiences to handling finance and insurance matters. In larger companies, your role may be in a much more specific area, like you may be focused on the education or front of house administration or programming or sponsorship. And again, obviously, the other most obvious option that English leads into a career, and that is the career of a writer. So successful writers are creative, organised, disciplined, have excellent research skills. It is surprising how important research is when writing, and a passion for sharing the written word. As a writer, you'll be involved in the creation and development of works of fiction and non-fiction. This covers various forms of writing, including life writing, magazine and newspaper articles, non-fiction, novels, poetry, screen and radio, scripts for theatre, short stories, and web content. New Media is also opening doors for writers in areas such as mobile phone content. I don't know If any of you have got the app called Hooked, and that's a really interesting app, and things like that are being developed more and more, and it's where stories, and they're all kind of thriller stories, are told through text messages. So you get so many, and then you know, it's an app, so obviously it's looking for you to pay, you sign in and you pay for the next ones, otherwise you have to wait an hour before you can get the next, say, 10 text messages in the story. And computer game scripts. So just because, if you're a gamer but you're not great at kind of the technology behind it, it doesn't mean that that isn't a world you could work in. You could write the scripts for computer games. Most workers work freelance. Okay, that means that they are self-employed. So as income from writing may be low and unpredictable, most writers supplement their income with other related activities, such as author visits, workshops, events, and readings. Some writers may find avenues to vary their writing and write in different forms, such as published novelists also writing reviews and literary criticism. In addition, many writers manage their writing work alongside full or part-time jobs, which may be related to their writing, such as lecturing on creative writing courses. You get quite a lot of that at kind of universities, or entirely unrelated. Public Relations Officer is another really interesting option. So, creative communicators who thrive on the demands of client relationship management. You have to be a real people person for this. So check out the competitive field of public relations. There are some really kind of great functions and things that you often get to do in public relations. It can be quite fancy sometimes. You'll use all forms of media and communication to build, maintain, and manage the reputation of your clients. These range from public bodies or services to businesses and voluntary organisations. You'll communicate key messages. So it's very much in line with the idea of marketing. They're two separate sections, but they're similar. To define target audiences in order to establish and maintain goodwill and understanding between an organisation and its public. PR officers are generally office-based, but you may be required to attend networking and media events, as well as meetings with clients, suppliers, and partner organisations. Oh, sorry, I thought I did a bit there. And also events. Public relations officers often do big events, especially if you work for huge companies. They're often putting on big PR events to get publicity. And to get that goodwill and to look at the new message and the way they want to move their brand on. Big events are key. That is the end of this tutorial on why English is brilliant and the varied array of career options that the subject can bring you. I hope you've enjoyed it. Have a lovely rest of your week and goodbye.